Well, it's on the front burner now. Everyone in Peoria's Sterling Towers will see an upgrade in the kitchen.
Sayla still takes a look at the Smartburner installation that took place today.
For over 6 months, it simmered. In a collaboration with the Peoria Housing Authority and the Peoria Fire Department, smart burners were installed everywhere on Thursday, meant to reduce the number of kitchen fires by limiting stovetop temperatures and limiting the amount of electricity being used. Smart burner technology has been developing since 2002, but this particular project was created in October of 2023.
I'm excited to finally get to this point where we can install the burners, the smart burners. I'm excited to hear the residents' feedback. We're looking forward to doing more cooking demonstrations here with the residents to help them to better acclimate themselves to smart burners.
One resident says this is his first electric stove and that he likes the idea of saving energy.
We all know that if you have a cast iron skillet, it distributes the heat much better. So I think that in the long run will help everybody to have better cooking for their food.
Each of the 185 units has 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom, run by the PHA. Their capital funds allowed everyone to get the new stove at no cost, valued at just over $250 each. In Peoria, Sayla Estelle, 25 News.